Back here at home, there are new developments following the FBI's search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home and golf club. A federal judge has approved a request by Trump's attorneys for a special master to review the materials seized during last month's search, temporarily blocking parts of the Justice Department investigation. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon stated in her ruling yesterday the special master should be able to review the seized documents to address questions of attorney-client privilege and to litigate claims of executive privilege. The Justice Department had argued a special master was unnecessary and would significantly harm important governmental interests, including national security interests. Judge Cannon rejected the government's argument that Trump's special master request was filed too late, that it was superfluous, and that Trump had no right for review because he did not own the documents in question that were seized. At the same time, Judge Cannon allowed a national security review of the records to continue, but temporarily blocked the government from reviewing and using them for its, quote, investigative purposes. So the order essentially puts a pause on the DOJ investigation until the special master's review has been completed. No word yet on who the special master will be, but Judge Cannon will make the appointment. She ordered the DOJ and Trump's attorneys to send her a list by Friday of potential candidates for the position and suggestions for what powers the position would hold. So, Joe, we've heard a lot of criticism of this from legal experts of this move, that the investigation is well underway, but may ultimately, and we'll talk to Andrew Weissman in just a moment about this, may ultimately just signal a pause in the Justice Department's investigation into these documents.
It's just a pause. And again, I don't know, maybe it's the lawyer in me. When the government says, trust me, I don't care who it is. If it's a prosecution and there's a way to bring a special master in, if that will at least make the process seem more down the middle. Forget about the extreme. Let's just talk about the handful of independents who can still be persuaded. I think that could be a good thing. But let's bring in somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. NBC News legal analyst Andrew Weissman. He's a former general counsel of the FBI and served as lead prosecutor in the Mueller special counsel's office. So, Andrew, you certainly know I have been bellowing for years now about how Donald Trump is above the law and he should be held, he should be accountable for his crimes. But I'm not catastrophizing over this appointment, first of all, because if it delays prosecution by a few weeks, I think the Justice Department will figure out a way to work itself around that, and also let him litigate the executive privilege. I don't think he has it, and the Supreme Court may have to rule on that. But other than those two issues, what is the tragedy in this special master being appointed?
Okay, let me see if I can convince you. So let's first talk about something that you mentioned, which is sort of equal justice, and that Donald Trump should not be treated better or worse than anybody else under investigation. What the judge did here is so out of the norm. Her discussion of the facts and her tethering of this to the law would just bore no resemblance to what happens every single day in federal and state investigations. No one else would be treated this way. And what's the harm other than it is opening the door to every defendant is going to now ask for this, which is nobody wants to have a fast investigation. Everyone's going to want to delay an investigation. And any good defense lawyer is going to glom onto this decision and say, you know what, I want a special master appointed to review any document at all that I have an interest in. It doesn't work that way. You do have an opportunity to do that if you get indicted. And it really isn't going to be a question of a couple weeks. It is unheard of for an Article III judge to enjoin a criminal investigation. Unheard of to do that. And here, with the defense, Donald Trump's defense now knowing that it can delay things, it's not just a question of appointing somebody and that special master will do their own independent review the defense is going to keep raising issues and wanting to litigate and take them to the special master and then take them to the district court judge and then take them to the 11th Circuit. This really could open the door to months of litigation. And the precedent, as I said, is horrendous because no other defendant or putative defendant is given this kind of right.
Well, if somebody's engaged in insider stock trading or some other white-collar crime, and their office is broken into, or there's a search of their office, or there's a search of their home, isn't it a bit different than a former president whose premises is searched, legally searched by a warrant? I mean, these are fairly extraordinary times. This is a fairly extraordinary case. And again, my concern is that at the end of the day, Donald Trump is brought to justice. So if it is delayed, if there are procedural steps that are taken that makes it look like our democracy is bending over backwards, to be fair, what is the ultimate damage in this case? Does it make it less likely that the DOJ can actually prosecute a case against Donald Trump?
I think the answer to that depends on how long this goes on. I think that is the answer. And I do think there's damage to the principle that nobody is above the law and everyone should be treated the same. Let me give you an example of how easy this issue is. In the special counsel investigation, when we did a search of Paul Manafort's home, all of the documents were put in a room. We called up his defense counsel at a very reputable firm at the time, Wilmer Cutler. We invited them to look at the documents, to flag anything that they thought was attorney-client privilege. We had the taint team review those things. We worked it all out in a matter of days. If there were any disputes, they could be brought to the judge. There was no need to enjoin us. There was no need for a special master. It all just sort of comes and goes, and there's a normal process for this. That's why what the judge did here just seems so out of the ordinary. And I don't think it really helps with people's confidence if you have special rules for somebody. It isn't the case that because you're the former president, you get more justice. You should get equal justice. You shouldn't be treated worse, but he shouldn't be treated better.